What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the More Than Love podcast. I'm your host, Terry DeRon.
And I'm your co-host, Jay Bravo.
Tonight, we are going to be talking about standards and dating strategies. With something that we talk about on the show all the time. But we're going to focus specifically on standards that we see women talking about when it relates to dating, and specifically dating strategies, ones that work and ones that don't. But before we get into that, we like to start off the podcast with the segment that we call Terry's Top 3, where we talk about and elaborate on three of the most popular or most controversial posts from my Instagram page at Terry DeRon. So today, the first post that we're going to talk about is a post that I created. And it says, for most men in committed relationships, the desire to fuck new women never goes away. What changes is his level of desire to do it, the way he responds to those urges or temptations, and how he feels about his woman and his relationship. That determines how he will handle it. And so when I put this post up, it was kind of intended to combat this notion that men just cheat just for the sake of cheating. Now, the desire to get new pussy or sleep with new women is always going to be there. You know, that's something that I talk to my buddies around about that are newlyweds or getting into marriage. I just gave them the reality check. Like, those desires, when you're around a woman that you find sexually attractive, your body's going to feel the exact same like you did when you were single. But the difference is how you respond to it. Like before, when you single and you can just do whatever, you shooting your shot majority of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're trying to at least see if you can get in the game, even if it's just a hit. You know what I'm saying? So, but when you're actively going against that type of behavior or not trying to put yourself in that position, you respond to scenarios differently. You know what I mean? And so the importance of talking about how he responds to it, because that's ultimately what really matters. Your man could fantasize about a different woman every single day, but as long as he never tries to hook up with her or never lets her know that he wants to fuck her, he's not doing anything to violate your relationship. Men can't help what they attracted to. You know what I'm saying? Like, so as long as he has the self control and the to respect the relationship and the boundaries that come with it, it's not a problem. You know what I mean? And so when a man is in a position where he has something to lose or he values his family or what he has, and his needs are actually being met. Like, I can't stress that enough.
That's it. I think the emphasis on the operative word is needs being met. I think a lot of times, if his needs are being met, that'll definitely give him reason to cheat.
Yeah,
like
because
he can. And I think you even have some women that do get upset, that a man fantasize about another woman. We talk about this all the time when they would, say it's disrespectful or you take it as disrespectful.
Right. I think that's a misuse of the word. I don't.
Yeah, it is. I think it's one of the most misused terms a lot that women use there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you can just control somebody for their natural desires. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can penalize them for how they respond to it. Like I said,
right?
You getting hungry when you smell some greens cooking or some spaghetti or something, and you on a diet or you trying to lose weight. Like, you can't be mad at the person because they got hungry or they had the desire to do something that was bad. You can judge them on how they respond to it. You know what I mean? And so that's the way I treat and it doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. Sexual desire is a gray area where it's okay to fantasize. It's okay to role play. It's okay to do whatever is agreeable between you and your partner. And I don't think a person should ever be able to invade a person's space to the point where they are penalizing them or viewing them negatively because of what makes their dick hard or their pussy wet. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's
like as long as they're not acting on that.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and, you know, saying and they're fantasizing about, let's just say, their favorite celebrity or their most attractive celebrity to them. You know what I'm saying?
right. I mean,
That,
even if
you know,
it's
people
something
fantasize about
something
that stuff.
taboo.
Or just,
Like,
you
but
know,
see, the way I feel about it though, even if it's something that's taboo, you know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
what's the shit where you use whips and you hurt people? Like, if you fantasize and you jack off to fantasizing about hurting somebody, that's cool. You can do that every single day. Just don't actually hurt. Don't actually hurt nobody though. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, so that's the way that I look at sexual fantasies and things of that nature. If you want to role play and act and pretend to be a thought cheating on her man, if that make you come, do it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you shouldn't penalize somebody for what turns them on sexually. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, if what they're doing is legal and not hurting anybody. So that's just the way that I look at things of that nature. And so when we talk about ways to deal with the realities that come with dating men, you know what I'm saying? Like, I know it's a harsh reality for some women to think that, man, my husband's always going to be able to spot a bad bitch whenever he walk in a bar or a room. Yes. Yes, he is. He's always going to be able to spot the cute, super cute, fine chick with the fat ass and the thighs that all the other men notice. He's been doing it his whole life. He's been, I don't even, I would compare it to like hunting for a tiger or a mammal. Like, it's something, they do it so often that they don't even think about them getting in the position to pounce on an animal. It's instinctual. You know what I mean? Like, so, and what's so funny about it, like, I'm pretty sure you can relate to this, but you walk in a spot or you walk in a room and one of your partners is there and it's a super bad chick. And then you look at your homie, you know what I'm saying, and y'all confirm that y'all both saw the bad chick. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
that non-verbal, my nigga, did you see her? You know what I'm saying? Like, you gotta make sure your partner didn't miss the baddie. Like, that's middle school boys do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that is an instinctual thing. When it's a very attractive chick around, the excitement you get from seeing her, you want your partners to experience it too. Even if y'all not gonna pursue her or do anything with her. You know, that's why eye candy is so.
I don't think, it's not an uncommon thing, man.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, men are visual creatures, so having eye candy or a cute chick at work, all those type of things can really benefit a relationship if the person has the self-control and their needs being met in all the ways to manage it, to where their desire to experience it or cheat or do something like that is not being increased more than it normally is. All right, so the next post that we're talking about was something I spoke about a while back, but it surfaced again. This is where Pastor John Gray was talking. He was on some talk show talking about relationships. Let's listen to what he had to say.
I think women need to realize they are the favor factor.
Yes, sir.
Which means if you are the favor, why would you chase the one who needs the favor?
Come on now, yes.
If you're the favor, make the person that needs it chase you.
Yes,
You're
sir.
the one that has the value. You're
Yes,
the one
sir.
that carries all the cards. And so if you properly position yourself, then the person who understands they need you should come running after you. See, and
Properly position.
properly positioned.
Properly positioned.
And then a man should have a mission. Because
Somebody touching
a
the
man
green.
talk about submit,
Somebody
but how can you
touching the
sub
green.
if there's no mission?
Yes.
So a
I
man
gotta
should
go.
present a mission.
Come on, Lord.
So that the woman can expand the vision.
Yes,
the
Pastor.
power of a woman is the power of multiplication. Yes, what a man gives in concentrated form, a woman can produce excellently, most unbelievably, exponentially. I gave my wife a house, she made it a home.
Yes.
I gave her groceries, she make it
Yes.
dinner. I gave her a seed, she gave me a
Yes.
soul. That's the power of a woman. And so women can do what a man could never do. That's why God gave a woman to a man.
Yeah, I'm about to cry.
Alone.
Okay, he said a whole lot. You know what I'm saying? Like, he went in. The stuff he said at the end, I would agree with. Woman, obviously a woman that compliments a man is going to make what he brings to the table better. But overall, I think this message is a bunch of nonsense that does not help women in any way. All right, so he starts off by telling women that they're the favorite, giving them this idea that you're better, you're the prize, he should have to win you, right? Then he follows it up by telling them that a man should chase after you. So since you're the prize, he should have to chase after you. That's a problem because it directly conflicts with how quality men chase me or pursue women.
Right.
They're not gonna chase. I'm gonna show interest. I'm gonna give you the opportunity to fuck with me or not. And based off how you respond, I'm gonna make judgments on what me and you can do or what I'm gonna be willing to put forward to get your time, attention, and eventually pussy. But the problem with this is he goes on to say that he tells women that they have the value, they control all the cards. Like, this is stuff that is just total. I mean,
bullshit.
I don't want to say it's 100% bullshit. Women do have value, but men have value too. But men have value too. So telling one sex you have the value implies that the other person doesn't. Like, and that is bullshit, right? The idea that a woman is going to get those things just because she's a woman. Like, telling every woman that is pointless. Every woman's not a great woman. Every woman's not going to have a husband. Every woman's not going to find Mr. Perfect that wants to be with her. Every woman does not think and behave in ways that are conducive to healthy relationships. So when men like him portray this message that you're a woman, God made you a woman, that's why you deserve it. That's bullshit. That feeds into this level of entitlement that men are constantly complaining about because this don't reflect reality. Like, telling women that they hold all the cards in dating, we can see the track record of women's dating experience and how that poorly they evaluate men and all the strategy they use. We know that this is not working for women. Like, men, you wouldn't be here breaking down all this stuff if women already got it and they were already operating in,
there would be a lot more successful relationships for that matter.
Exactly. You know what I mean? And so
I for one, this definitely contradicts, with how quality men see this, that the women hold on, because this kind of perpetuates and just reinforces a lot of these thoughts that women have, these flawed things that women have.
Yeah, the flawed attitudes, the attitudes that men don't like, the attitudes that cause problems with the quality men. He's feeding it to them in a fluffy, feel-good way that's stamped with God's approval. You know what I'm saying? Like,
the warm fuzzies here.
Yeah, he's telling them exactly what they want to hear. Like, you saw how the women were reaction. Oh my God! Like, it's a rah-rah speech. It's no different than a coach in a locker room telling the players what they need to hear to go win the game. But it does absolutely nothing to improve a woman's dating experience. Being told that you're better than a man and you should expect him to just chase after you and you deserve everything because you're the woman and you're going to make everything better, that's not helping women.
Right. And that's the value in here, I think. But like I said, I don't even think that works anyway. Like, because like a man chasing a woman or trying to win over as a prize, it usually doesn't work. A woman's just gonna kind of decide whatever.
It's a very stupid strategy, bro.
Probably may or may not have the same interest that she does in him.
Exactly. I mean, just think about this mentally. If you have to chase somebody, if somebody's being chased, most times they don't want to be caught. Whether it's kids playing a game, whether it's somebody being chased by the police, whether it's a cornerback chasing a receiver, like the person being chased does not want to be caught. And so if you apply that strategy to dating, if I'm showing effort towards you and you are showing, if I'm making an effort to be around you, hang out with you, and you showing me that you trying to do the opposite, I'm going to stop inviting you. I'm going to stop giving you my time and attention. I'm going to direct it to the women that want to fuck with me like that. And so that's why I think this is such a bad message, because it's going to cause a lot of women to get cut off by quality men.
Like for men that try to chase and win women over, they're usually never successful in doing.
That's the friend zone,
so like
bro.
that, most quality man that says okay, that has remote, some kind of interest in her, and it's not reciprocating. He's just going to charge up to the game and move on to the next one.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the things that makes a man successful with women. Figuring out who wants to mess with you and who don't.
Exactly.
As soon as possible. Like, men are perfectly fine with getting curved. They just want to get curved immediately. Curve me at the bar so I'm not tall enough, I'm not dark enough, whatever. I might have a partner that is qualified to get with you, though. And I'll be rooting for him to hit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not like men that are successful with women don't want their friends to be successful with women too. You know what I mean? So
right.
It's not a problem for you to let it be known that you are not interested in a man. You just don't have to try to make it humiliating. You don't have to try to shame him or whatever. You can politely let him know that you're not interested, or you taken, or whatever the case may be.
But see, a lot of them say, I think with women, the whole man chase them and doing all this extra stuff. I think like he was saying, I think that this kind of just plays more into a woman's ego, because she's getting the attention, she's getting attention, even though she may not even have that mutual interest in him like that.
Yeah, that's true. Let's move on to our last post. This post was a post that went viral. I saw this, a couple people posted this today. This was a post where a chick starts twerking at a basketball game and lets the crowd see everything. Let's take a look. Alright, you can see the crowd went wild when this girl hiked up her skirt and started twerking in front of a crowd full of mostly men. Now, I totally get the reaction. The chick is very attractive, ass is fat, like, she's a very attractive woman. And she was doing the fool with the twerking. You know what I'm saying? But what I posted, the post said, men in the crowd, I wish she was my woman, 0 to 5% of the crowd. I'd nut all over over her ass, 95 to 100% of the men. And so the point that I wanted to make is, women do this type of stuff and it generates sexual attention only. This does not make a man look at a woman and say, man, that's the woman I want to raise my kids with. That's the woman I want to build my life with. No. Men are thinking about pulling that thong to the side and fucking the shit out of her. That's it. Like, that's the extent of it. They're not looking at her in any other way, largely because of how she presented herself and her judgment or her decision making. A woman that will lift up her skirt and show her ass and her thong to a crowd of strangers is not the type of woman that most quality men are going to want to make their wives. But they will still fuck with her. Those type of chicks are fun to hang out with. They cool to be jump offs. They cool to be side chicks. All these other roles, they are just usually not the women that the man intentionally wants to have kids with, and that she's not the type of woman that most men are going to actually marry. But the women that look that way and behave that way are very fun to be around. You can invite them to your partner's barbecue, pool party, and she's going to bring friends that are most likely going to make your partners happy. You know what I mean? Like, so it is. I saw a lot of women commenting about the men reacting to it. You know what I mean? And there seems to be this kind of confusion. where women
What were
will
the comments like?
they were saying things like, it's so hypocritical. Men will cheer for her and clap for her, but they'll have a problem with their girl doing it. Like,
yeah, why would you? I mean, what average man? Just not even just qualities. What average man just wants his woman to go out working in front of random dudes?
I don't
showing your ass, showing your ass, and everything.
I don't understand how they don't make that connection either. It's a very different thing from the normal average man liking and having a positive reaction to an attractive woman.
The other way around, the dude who's over there,
slanging his
dick out in front of random people. They're gonna be like, the women aren't gonna take that too well there.
Yeah, man, and that's another thing that's kind of funny. Women will criticize men for responding like this, but women are very thirsty too. My wife a couple of weeks ago, right? She went to this thing. I forget what it was called, like wine and something. But
paint or something like that.
They were painting naked men. They were painting naked men and drinking wine.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. I've seen. I've heard of that.
But my wife,
that seems to be popular now.
Yes, but when she comes home, she's telling me about it. She's like, "Man, babe, they had to have a rule that says don't suck dick, don't grab the dick, don't play with the dick." Like,
wow.
Why do you have to have? And there are still women that are trying to kiss the dick and take selfies with it and shit. Like, women can be very thottish when the eyeballs are limited, and even in public, as we see. You know what I mean? And so I just thought it was a very. I just wanted to kind of elaborate on. Yeah, that gets a lot of attention. That gets a lot of likes on the gram. But men are not liking those pictures, thinking that's who I want to be with. That's why the women that post that type of material or put themselves out there like that get a certain type of reaction. Men in your DMs trying to fuck.
Pretty much. And I think and a lot of women confuse that with being likable. And it's just, a bunch of thirsty dudes wanting to fuck. That's it, man. Nothing more than that.
Absolutely. So let's get into the topic of the night. Tonight we are talking about standards and dating strategies, and this is information that we talk about all the time. I'm always talking about dating strategies, trying to give women ways to improve their dating strategies, because I feel a lot of the things that they believe in are set up to either make it very difficult for them to get in healthy relationships with quality men, or impossible. All right, so we're going to start it off with the definition of standards. A standard is a level of quality or attainment. There's absolutely nothing wrong with having standards. Expecting certain levels of respect, expecting certain types of behavior, expecting a certain level of courtesy and manners from others. Like, we all have those kind of expectations. You know what I mean? Like, somebody coming to your house for the first time, you expect them to ask before they just go in your refrigerator or start going through your shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's reserved to your partner that come over all the time, that's just going to grab your last beer or something. But typically, that's not something somebody's going to do their first time going to somebody's crib. Like, other just common courtesies, like the first time somebody comes to my house, my wife is going to at least offer to fix their plate. Just, she's like that. You know what I mean? Like, so there are certain things that you're just going to do. But when you're talking about dating, what you should be looking for are things that indicate a person either has the mentality or operates in a way that is going to mesh with your personality and lifestyle. Right? So your standard should be on your level. Similar to what your financial status is, similar to the lifestyle you live. You drink and smoke, okay, they should be able to drink and smoke, or you do some light turning up. Like, I don't expect a person that doesn't drink or smoke to be with the person that does heavy drugs. You know what I'm saying? Like, that typically seems like a dysfunctional relationship. But somebody that drinks, somebody that smokes weed, or somebody that does a line every now and then when they partying, I can see them working together and it not being a problem. You know what I mean? Like they're closely related to the people that they're dating in their lifestyles or similar. They may not be exact.
Well, that's I think sometimes a lot of times you say you kind of you're a reflection of who you date or who you're around. So I think sometimes let's just say you date a guy that's crack his habits. It's probably a matter of time before you pick up those crackhead type habits.
Yeah. I mean,
like they say, you have 9 girlfriends and 9 times for you to test. I think that analogy can be applied there.
I agree with that. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was the definition of strategy. The word strategy means a plan of action designed to achieve a major or overall aim. So, since we know the definition of strategy, I think it's fair that we can come up with a definition for dating strategy. So, my definition of a dating strategy: a plan of action intended to weed through candidates and establish a healthy relationship with someone you're compatible with long term. I think that's a very fair definition of a dating strategy. And when you see what my definition of dating strategy is, you'll see why I feel that most women have dating strategies that are counterproductive to achieving their relationship goals. All right? Now, there are a couple different things that I want to talk about when we're talking about standards and dating strategies. Most women, or most of the things that I've observed from my interactions with women, their dating strategies are based off physical attraction and their emotions, how they feel about a man. And that's very problematic because it puts fuckboys in the door to be able to prey on their emotions, tell them what they want to hear, and get what they want from the woman or the situation before she even realizes what she's being with. You know what I mean? Like
I think another problem that we have with their dating strategy is a lot of times what happens is they tend to project what type of man they want on the dude. So
giving them a blueprint.
If they're dating they end up messing around with a fuckboy. They projected what kind of man they want him to be, or maybe they see him being on him. So that's how you get a lot of these when they end up in these dysfunctional relationships messing with fuckboys.
Yeah, they're making the decision to be in a committed relationship before they effectively vet the person and figure out if they're compatible or not. Because it's very possible for you to be physically attracted to have fun with somebody you're not compatible with long term.
Exactly. And I think I'm glad you said that, because what happens with a lot of times too when they're dating that fuckboy or that dude, it's like they get caught up more so on the adventure rather than you're going to be a good husband, a good father to your child.
Yeah, they ignore a lot of the red flags. They ignore the differences in their personalities that are going to create conflicts, and they don't actually put things in place to resolve those issues. So a lot of that's what I consider failing the dating phase. Like that's information.
Has more to do with poor decision making and lousy judgment when choosing to date somebody.
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things that can explain it. A lot of it has to do with being desperate to be in relationships, not knowing what a healthy relationship really looks like, getting your vision of what a quality man is or what a healthy relationship is off of TV or the media. So there are a lot of different explanations as to why women have such warped perceptions of what real relationships look like and how men are really going to operate. They get fed a lot of nonsense, like something like the video we saw earlier. He's supposed to chase you. He's supposed to do what you want. He's supposed to pay all the bills. He's supposed to do this. Like, you deserve this. Like, women are told all these kind of messages and they believe them. And so when you're dating a woman and you tell her no or you don't do that type of stuff, they look at you like you the problem. That's.
And I think with things like that, where he's obviously pandering to an audience, and it's messing up the game for everybody else. Like you said, the quality dudes are coaching and she's like, if she's putting all these requirements on him that he has to do X, Y, and Z, he's like, why would I do that? I'm not paying no bill. I barely hit another.
Yeah.
But he's going to discharge it to him like, okay, I'll just deal with next shit where she's not putting no requirements. And
yeah,
hey, listen,
see,
she's a quality woman. She just is fine. If not,
a lot of women call that settling for less or getting a woman with less standards. But I look at that as, nah, that's just finding a woman he's more compatible with. Like,
exactly.
There's not much difference between the chick that thinks a man should pay 100% of her bills and make $75K and a woman that's willing to pay a portion of the bills and bring $75K to the household. Most men are going to gravitate towards the woman that's willing to pay some. There are very few men that are just going to say, oh, no, I got it. Let me prove to you how much of a man I am. So let me pay everything. Like, if you want to do that, that's cool. You want to buy his and her Wraiths and Lambos, that's cool. I'm aspiring to get to that level. I get it. But that's not what makes you a man or not. Like Jay-Z's not less of a man if Beyonce pays or to maintain some of their mansions or pays for some of their expenses out of her $90 million she make every year. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that concept that a man is, his value as a man is determined by what percentage of the bills he pays. I don't buy into that. That doesn't translate to reality to me.
And at the same time, okay, he has to do X, Y, what are you bringing to the table here? What tangibles are you bringing to the table? I mean, you're just supposed to sit there and just look good. Like, how does that work?
Man, a lot of them can't explain it. They just feel like they're supposed to benefit. The men are supposed to do things for them.
My question would be, well, what did you do to warrant him to even do any of that?
They're women, bro. They was born with a pussy. Like, this is when you ask these type of questions, they're not gonna respond. They're not gonna provide a logical answer. Like,
I'll tell you this for the women listeners on the show. Don't go into dating with that mind frame, because you will lose cooperation and quality dudes that way.
Yeah, I mean,
the dudes you want are just gonna move, keep it pushing.
All right, let's shift gears and start. Let's talk about dating strategies. Now, one of the biggest differences between men and women are their difference in relationship goals that contribute to their biggest differences in dating. The biggest difference in their dating experiences. Men in general are very simple when it comes to dating. Most men just want consistent time, attention, and pussy from women. If they can get those three things on their own timetable, they're good. Most men are good with that. If they can get that consistently from women that they find attractive, that are in their dating pool, most men are perfectly fine with that exchange. Even if it never leads to falling in love and getting married or starting a family. Because most men consider those things to be optional. Yeah, they cool. They may want a child or whatnot, but they can have a child at any time. So they're not as pressed to do those things as a lot of women are. So when you're talking about how quality men are looking at getting into relationships or being with a woman, they're expecting you to bring something to the table. You know what I mean? Like, because they're choosing among other quality women if they're the type of men that quality women want to be with. So now, there are a couple of different dating strategies that I've observed in women, and I just want to talk about each one a little bit. This is probably the most common dating strategy that women employ, and I couldn't really come up with a genuine name for it, so I use the description. So bear with me on this one, Jay. The play it cool, then passive aggressively pressure for a commitment once we have sex strategy. I think that's something that most men can relate to, because it identifies the most common dating experience men have. Where a woman, you think everything is going perfectly cool, y'all on the same page, you enjoy hanging out with her, she's cool hanging out with you. You finally hit, so you just glad that you finally fucking, and now all of a sudden her behavior shifts from everything being cool to now I'm in fast forward to a relationship mode. And that's what disrupts the chemistry and kills the dating phase. Her insistence on trying to force the relationship to happen.
Yeah, that's kind of, jumping from A to Z, because, from our getting to know each other, obviously the sex comes with it, but now after that, you're forcing it, forcing a relationship on him. And this is pretty common with a lot of women, where they say, well, where are we? You're not going to just come over here and keep fucking me. You can't just, or you're not going to have me over here. I'm not some jump off. I'm not this, I'm not that.
Yeah, but I think that
a lot of times, and what's going to happen in a lot of those cases, 9 times out of 10, he's just going to charge you 3 games. Like, hey, nice knowing you. He's going to move on to the next one.
Well, I think that's a result of not discussing the topic or your expectations before having sex. Like, women they have sex with these unspoken expectations, and then when they're not met, they make some drastic response to it. You know what I mean? Like, and so it's like,
right. And I think we discussed this on previous shows before. Women, like women guy ultimate, well, either relationship or it's nothing.
Yeah, and that's unfortunately a lot of the strategy a lot of women use. The next strategy is one that we've already kind of talked about, is the chase me, play hard to get strategy, where they're gonna make it as difficult as possible for you to communicate with them, to hang out with them, to get their time, to get their attention. Another very bad date strategy, because it directly conflicts with how the men that are popping, that have the credentials y'all look for, actually date. They're not about to keep giving their time and energy and inviting a woman that is curving them on more dates. They're just going to stop texting you and text the other chick that is interested in him. So this play hard to get, not respond to his first text, ignore his call, make him call 2 times. Like, these little additional steps you're putting in place to get him to prove how much he likes you is actually pushing him away from you. And it's decreasing the chances that things evolve.
So, did you have, like, I think I've seen a post you had something of that. So if he really wants it, he'll change and go out of his way. And I guess it's basically implying he was wrong for not to, if he doesn't change, so then he wasn't that interested to begin with.
Yeah, the post was saying something about like, why is it if a man wasn't doing enough to win you and you fall back, why doesn't he do more to win you, or something like that? And it's like, what makes you think you're going to be able to do less and have the realistic expectation that a man is about to do more? I mean, if your job told you, Jay, hey, we're going to pay you less, but we know you had Saturday and Sunday out, but you got to start working a couple hours on Saturdays too. So we're going to pay you less, and we want you to do more work. How's that going to fly with you?
And it's not even though they said most people will tell them, why would I do that?
Yeah, you got me fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not about to do nothing extra with less reward. And so a woman thinking that she's going to give a man less time and attention and expect him to increase the amount of effort he's putting into towards her, she has a warped perception of reality and how things really work.
And I think I believe I commented, and like I said, I think that's just more, that sounds like that's just more about her ego. So she wants a man to feed into her ego. That's what it sounds like it has more to do with.
All right, now the next dating strategy that I see is another very ineffective strategy. This is the I'm celibate, or the woman that puts no effort into dating. You know, the I'm done with dating chick. You know what I mean? Like, she has a relationship goal of being married one day, but she's not putting no effort into it because men are just a waste of time and dating is just a waste of time. This is a very bad strategy because it virtually eliminates the possibility of you ever getting in a relationship with a quality man. If you are not willing to interact, flirt, go on dates, and spend time with men that are interested in you, you are never going to achieve your relationship goal. So that really doesn't qualify as a strategy to me, but I see a lot of women with this mindset that feel like this is the dating strategy that's going to prevent heartbreak for them. Now, will they prevent getting their heart broke? I guess that's true. If you never date anybody, you're almost guaranteeing that you won't get your heart broke. But it's still possible for a woman to fall in love with a man or wish that a man was hers. It could be a coworker, it could be somebody at the gym, it could be somebody that moved in her neighborhood. Just because she's not actively putting energy into dating doesn't mean she won't see a man that she could picture herself being with and have those feelings towards him. But those were the three main dating strategies that I see women trying to employ. I don't think the women that are just being promiscuous are really employing any dating strategy or whatnot. They're just giving in to their urges, saying yes to the men that they're attracted to. So that's not really strategy involved. That's more just value system and decision making. But none of the main strategies I see women using are very effective. And so I wanted to talk about what dating strategies I've observed that have been effective. And so I labeled this what actually works. So I have 4 basic things that you should be looking for in order to establish a healthy relationship that has long-term potential. Number 1, you need to establish a mutual romantic interest and make sure your lifestyles and schedules are compatible with one another. When you are initially meet somebody or initially start the dating phase with them, that is very important. What days you off, what time you work, what you do on the weekends, what is your lifestyle like? So I can get some type of mental big picture idea of how I can even fit in it. If you are out of town every weekend taking your kid to volleyball tournaments, and then during the week you do this, and you don't get home till 8 o'clock, and then if you don't have time to actually date, that's not going to be a good fit for you. And so you have to figure that out during the initial part of dating somebody. Because if you wait until you are months in, or you wait until you are already in love, it's too late to figure that stuff out. Right? The next thing that I had, step number 2, communicate with them regularly to learn some background information about them and their personality. You should be having meaningful conversations, figuring out where they from, how they work, how they tick, how they see things, talking about current events, current situations. Those are the kind of conversations you should be having when you texting or when you on dates with somebody, to figure out how they feel about the world around them. If you effectively do this, you'll know how they feel about marriage and gay marriage and having kids and step parent. Like you'll be able to have conversations about current situations that give you all the information you need to know on how they view certain things. Right? Step 3. You need to spend time with them in person to develop chemistry and observe them in interactions with others and in various situations and circumstances. So you want to be able to see how they engage other people, how they handle situations, how they handle an inconvenient situation, how they handle a situation where they felt disrespected or felt was unfair. You want to see how a person functions in these different environments, because that's what you deal with in real life. when you are in a long-term marriage or a committed relationship, you are working together to overcome the obstacles that life throw at you. And you want somebody that can complement you and work in a way that is better for you. You don't want somebody that makes situations worse. You don't want somebody that instead of you having a $400 problem, they fuck something up and now you spending $700 or $800 to fix it. Like, that's not conducive. Instead of having something that was going to be fixed this weekend, now because of you, what you chose to do, we got to wait 2 weeks to get it resolved. Those are the type of things that create issues and tension in relationships, because you start to question a person's intelligence when they're constantly doing stuff to make situations worse or create more problems. Let me see. And the last one I had was, you need to make a judgment based on how compatible you are with them long term, on whether or not you will be willing to take the relationship to the next level. Now, that don't mean that it's going to happen. That don't mean that they're going to feel the same way. But you should date them for a period of time to make a valid, solid evaluation of what type of person they are before you decide whether or not you would be in a relationship with them or not. Like, that's not a decision you should have made on date number 1 or 2. That's something that should be established over time. What did you think about my quick list on?
I think they're all like good strategies, and it's a very, I would say, a very pragmatic approach to things, as opposed, sounds like practical dating as opposed to just emotional dating there.
Yeah, I wanted to.
And I think it's it's going to be effective. I think obviously you're going to have some kind of emotional attachment if you're going to date somebody, take it to the next step, and be with that person long term. But I think with that, you're taking a lot of the emotion out of it. You're making them think outside of their emotion.
Yeah, I mean, I want to give them some practical ways to be able to allow the dating process to play out without disrupting it, without doing something that's going to make a man not want to give you more time or not put more effort into actually getting to know you. So I think that
now let's just say she does follow these steps. It's no requisition that the next guy you date, that's going to be your husband, because you may or may not be compatible with that person.
Right. Nothing is guaranteed when you're going into a dating scenario. So that should never be the expectation. You should always go into it hopeful or optimistic, but you cannot expect anything out of it. That's the fastest way to lead to disappointment.
You put these something, and you have some they might be I did X, Y, and Z, and this I used your dating strategy and it didn't work. I mean, there's no 100% success rate here, but at least you have you got the tools here to have a successful relationship here.
Right. We definitely try, like I said on the podcast, we're always trying to put women in better position to have healthy relationships. But women that are out there actively dating, that are looking to improve your dating, you can definitely go to my website, terryderonbooks.com, and download my dating and compatibility guide. It's only $1.50, so it's something you can download directly to your phone or tablet that can explain to you what conversations you should be having, can give you outlines on what the dating process should look like. There are actual worksheets that you can use, that you can print out to evaluate and fill out based on the person you're dating. There's also a dating calendar, so you can chart your dating experience with the person. That way you can turn your dating experience into actual data. And that way you can make a better decision or a better judgment on whether or not you're compatible with somebody, instead of just having feeling-based dating strategies. So hopefully between the information that we shared in the episode, the dating guide, my other relationship book, It's Not That Complicated, you women will have all the tools that you need to be able to improve your dating strategies. Jay, looks like we're up against the clock, so want to just say thanks again for another quality episode. I appreciate the effort.
Another good show.
Those of y'all that are listening or watching, make sure you share the podcast with your friends so they can get put up on game and they can learn how to improve their relationships too. This has been another episode of More Than Love. Thanks for tuning in.
All right.